part B now.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Live listener race for side B or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, side B. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that
like
too.
a tape
Side
deck,
two.
you know?
Yeah. Well, even a record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And here is your compilation I got for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, here's your mixed vinyl.
Yes.
I pressed it myself. So what we're doing this week, no doubt you've listened to the side 1 or side A.
Side A, yep.
We're doing British bands on live listener raised, and Chilli's list was pretty good. We had Joy Division, Radiohead, and Stone Roses. We all know how that fell. If you don't, then listen to the fucking episode.
Go back and listen right now.
So,
pause this one, go back, come back here.
To recap the rules, we've got live, which is you can see a band once live and they disappear. You got listen, and it's a band you can continue listening to on repeat, but you can never see them live, and they'll never leave your life.
That's right.
And then you've got erased, which is basically you can never hear them again or see them live. So, it's not easy to make these decisions. It's quite heart-wrenching.
Very difficult decisions ahead.
Yep. And again, shout out to Chilli's 5-minute review.
Thank you.
Yep. He's reviewing albums that have come out. If you're into his cutting analysis, as I am, then you'll listen. It's really good.
Most of the time it's just me getting drunk to some albums and I'll just review it. But other than that, I do something good.
And to end the formalities, podcasts on all platforms. You know what they are.
Fantastic.
If you don't, you should listen to side 1.
Refer to side A for the previous notes.
So we're doing British bands, which is if anyone likes music, then you know that London is basically not necessarily
not
Liverpool,
just London.
Liverpool, Manchester,
Manchester,
the Manchester scene, which we were discussing
scene.
in the last
Fantastic
episode.
Area.
Something about that area of the world, and then the US versus the US. We're going to leave the US aside today. We're going to go to the motherland. England,
Indeed.
merry old England.
The start of real good music.
So, Chilli, live listener raised.
Yes.
Who are you going to do? You're going to do Led Zeppelin,
Ooh.
The Who, or Black Sabbath? And enjoy that list, dickhead.
Oh my gosh, of course it had to be some from the 70s and 60s there. So what we had there was The Who, there was Zeppelin, and Sabbath.
Man.
That is a nice list there.
Yep.
Oh man, all those bands back in their heyday.
I'm going to throw in a curveball here, right?
Right.
I'm going to say on live, you hear them when they were at their peak. We're not talking Sabbath now.
No, of course
We're talking.
not.
You see live Sabbath like Volume 4, or like Master of Reality, or like
Zeppelin when How the West Was Won or something like that.
Like 4, or
but before then actually I reckon was their peak.
Maybe 3. I don't know. It's all fucking awesome.
Have you listened to How the West Was Won, the live album?
No.
That one? That, according to Jimmy Page, he goes, that was us at our pinnacle.
Is that right?
That's right.
Thank you. You learn something new on this podcast every day.
There we go. And if you haven't listened to it, it's a good 2.5-hour concert by Led Zeppelin. Nice. Amazing. Okay. I do believe they cut.
Spotify?
Yeah, it's on Spotify. I think they cut 40 minutes off the drum solo. I don't know. You know how John Bonham is. He's nuts.
God damn, that guy. Mate, while we're talking on John Bonham, and we haven't even got into your thinking yet.
Yes.
But the drums on When the Levee Breaks is just the best drumming in Western popular music.
It is so
potentially
good. It's just amazing that track. I know A Perfect Circle, I think, covered it. They did a decent version.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's not your style. Can't hold a candle
to the original.
Oh God, no! Can you really?
Come on, it's Zepp.
I'm pretty sure they took influence from I think it was Indian drumming or Eastern drumming patterns.
Mate, potentially.
I think.
Well, they had to set up the drum kit in it was in a massive house or something, and they had I think were they the ones who put the installation in the kick drum? The first people who did it, potentially?
No, I think that was
that
the
might
Who.
Have been Ringo.
I think it might have been the Who.
Okay. But it's that drumming sound is just it's just so overwhelming. Like it's jeez. And then at the end we get that roll. It's a holy shit.
The roll is just going for it. Oh my gosh.
But I've listened to Sweet Leaf about fucking 20 times today.
He can't get over that one.
Me personally, I can't get over it, or
no. I can't.
I think it's the best. If we're talking about Black Sabbath now, as you would all know,
Yep.
course. First song off Master of Reality,
Yep.
which is often heralded as their best album.
Yes.
I wouldn't agree, but
What would you say would be their best?
I would like a composite. I would have to put together a greatest hits. But if I had to listen to one Black Sabbath album, it would be Sabbath Bloody Sabbath,
Right.
which is pretty random.
Yeah, that is a random one.
But it was my it was my segue into
That was the first album you got?
from Garage Inc. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
I've got two copies of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on CD,
Nice.
and I've got one copy on vinyl.
Oh, that vinyl would be...
It's
I would just
alright.
stare at the album cover, to be honest.
it's you can never stop looking at it. It's
It's
brilliant.
so mesmerizing. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the original Guns N' Roses logo on the first album they did. I don't know. It just... You can't take your eyes off of it. You know, there's something going on there. But
What about the Who, Chili?
The Who, one of the loudest bands out there. They did it first, right? You know, they were just... I guess if you're going back to the 60s music, you know, the likes of Rolling Stones and the Beatles, and then there's like the Who, which would be... I'd always consider like I guess you can call them the Rascals of that scene. They were just chaotic.
The Mods.
Yeah, they were just...
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they were performing loud, fast, and they didn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
they
total
obviously,
punk shit,
yeah, exactly.
like-
I mean, the first single they ever released, My Generation, they're dropping they're almost dropping the F-bomb to tease.
Yeah.
The senses, you know?
So good. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it was that live set at a college, right?
Yeah.
That was so brilliant.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god,
I mean, like, that song is just is ubiquitous. Like it basically sums up the 60s.
and yes, it does. It's just everyone knows My Generation. It's been used in countless films and TV.
Sweet
so,
Leaf is
you
the
know.
best riff ever written, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great riff. You just can't.
Probably the best riff.
Yeah.
Oh, but just like and the way that the bass does it just.
But now we're rambling, I guess, on this part here. I will go into one band first. Here we go.
We're going to raise them, or
No. Sorry, I'll start on my thought pattern.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with Black Sabbath first, all right?
okay.
So we'll go into discussion here. Now,
We've seen them live.
we have seen them live. You didn't like them, I don't think.
I
Did you?
liked them. Of course, I liked them.
You liked them?
Yeah, they were amazing. But I mean, like Ozzy. I mean, they're pretty old. Ozzy was reading from a teleprompter,
You reckon he was?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
but he was still really good.
He was a
But
good performer for a guy who can barely speak English when he's...
Oh,
off
let's-
stage,
Let's not defame Ozzy. He's a
No, I'm not going to
goddamn
defame him.
legend.
He is insane.
He's honestly like he's like if Lemmy is God, then Ozzy's Jesus, or potentially the devil.
I think you're not wrong there. That's for sure. The Prince of
Yeah.
Darkness himself. Oh, there were so many other things as well over there. But Black Sabbath. Oh my God, just so many famous and iconic riffs. A whole plethora of genres spawned out of Sabbath. Here is heavy metal.
Yeah.
Here is
But
doom metal.
It's not heavy metal though. Like in my opinion,
I know it was bluesy
it's
rock.
just blues.
but
It's just honestly just like a continuation of Cream, as I see it.
I guess, but here we are doing... They did things that heavy metal bands would be influenced by later on. We're going to drop
Oh, of
tune.
course.
We're
Yeah.
going to slow it down. We're going to do play
We're
it
gonna put
harder.
we're gonna put the gain up all the way.
Correct.
Yeah,
Like, yes, blues bands were doing it similar, but not exactly like that.
Oh, no way.
They were very different at the time.
It just sounds. I don't know. When I listen to Black Sabbath, it sounds so bloody modern. Like,
It still sounds so fresh.
If you listen to Arctic Monkeys AM,
Yep.
I honestly think that sounds like Master of Reality. Like,
I'd have to go
if
back
you
and listen to it.
Listen to Queens of the Stone Age as well. I mean, you just hear Black Sabbath in that.
There are so many bands that Black Sabbath has touched us.
Yeah, Nirvana.
Just like 90% of the metal bands out there.
I think Kurt Cobain described Nirvana's early sound as Black Sabbath being raped by Black Flag.
Just that image of Ozzy Osbourne raping Henry Rollins.
Oh, God, it may well have happened.
Oh shit!
But,
And not to mention, I guess, the tours that Black Sabbath would have gone through, the crazy shit. I mean, Snowblind. Come on, man.
man. Like,
Frank Zappa's most favourite riff, Snowblind or something.
Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah, that's a bloody awesome song.
I mean,
what about like the fact when they recorded it was either Volume 4 or Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. and they just shacked up in a big ass palatial mansion in Beverly Hills or Los Angeles or something in the early 70s.
Yes.
And just had a speaker full of coke, like literally an entire huge, like literally like a 3-foot speaker packed full of cocaine.
Here we go. We're going to be doing recording now. Amazing. I think Bill Ward had a nervous breakdown during that one because everyone had recorded except for him.
Yeah, he was
and
doing
he was way too much.
He was cooked.
He was
scattered.
But
Bill Ward's really good.
He's a great drummer.
Yeah, unfortunately, he seemed to have fallen out with him.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Can you remember who performed live with them?
It was a session guy, but he was really good.
Yeah, because I remember when they did the recording, not of their the 13, I think it was called.
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
I think is it Brad Wilkes, the drummer from Rage Against the Machine?
Potentially.
The drummer from Rage Against the Machine, anyway. He performed on that album, which I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit of a surprise.
They both hit really bloody hard, though.
They do. Both bands. Black Sabbath. And 5 in a row. 5 amazing albums in a row.
Like anyway, Sabotage. He got off the rails after that. But I mean, listen to those first 5 albums, man.
I could divide it further by saying Dio era as well.
Yeah,
but
I stop at Sabotage. But who needs any more than that though? Like it's a blessing to have everything that came up to and before.
Yeah.
What about
I'd almost
Paranoid?
consider Black Sabbath like that era a different band almost.
Oh, they're ethereal. Like there's a couple of really, really low, poor guys from
Bristol.
Bristol, I think. Yeah, Bristol, or is it
Bristol?
Yeah, and just who just played together, and they just sounded so awesome.
They were
just a bunch of misfits, and they just got together and made that fucking sound with 4 people. Like, Jesus Christ.
I'd have to say probably Paranoid would be my favourite album.
Yeah, well, the song Paranoid, they put that was literally just a throwaway at the end of the sessions.
Yeah, we've got some time. Hey, can we record a song? Guess why not? Ozzy Osbourne's out there having the durry. Let's do it. You know?
Like Bill Ward wrote the lyrics, Ozzy wrote the melody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Tony wrote the riff, obviously wrote all the riffs.
Yes.
But he wrote the riff in 5 minutes, but basically just a pop phenomenon, that song. It's
incredible.
Yeah. Oh god.
Palpitations.
Like War Pigs, man. Like
War Pigs is such a song.
Arctic Monkeys AM is basically just War Pigs remixed.
Wow.
It's
I really got to go back and listen to it.
That is a great album.
I don't think I've listened to that album too much.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back on that one.
Do it.
All right. So Black Sabbath, we've gone into depth there. This is a hard list.
This is
difficult, man.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Thank you.
Led Zeppelin. Man. A band that almost has no bad albums. Almost.
The way that they ended it was really dignified.
It was.
Unlike Black Sabbath, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Controversial, rude, maybe. But like continuation of a band with like Tony Iommi. It's not Black Sabbath. It's like Tony Iommi with a bunch of other dudes. Like Led Zepp said, our drummer's he's tragically passed after all those vodka shots. And
you know the story on that one?
Tell me.
So the day John Bonham passed away, he woke up. Ripped John Bonham there, man. Apparently, he woke up that morning, went down to the bar for lunch, and he goes, "Oh, can I get 4 quadruple shots of vodka and a ham sandwich?" And the bartender's like, "All right, sure." Pours out 4 quadruple shots of vodka and makes him a ham sandwich.
It's basically a bottle.
Yeah, it is.
Like 4 4s, 16.
16.
Yeah, it's like three-quarters of a bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
There's 21 shots in a bottle.
Yeah.
Not that I'm counting.
No, yeah, mass is good there. So anyway, he gets the 4 shots in front of him in the ham sandwich, and he smashes the 4 shots. Then he takes a bite out of the ham sandwich and goes, "Well, that's lunch." Walks away.
And that was it.
Well, he passed away later on that day, I believe. But that's the story I've heard about his demise on that day.
God bless that man.
God bless that party animal.
They partied pretty hard.
They did.
And so, I don't know if they partied as hard as Sabbath. Or what about the Who? They would have partied.
Well, the Who partied, I think, more than the last two bands. I mean, Keith Richards
Really?
drove a bloody...
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards...
No, Keith Richards in
Sorry,
Starbucks.
Keith Moon. Keith Moon is what I meant to say. Keith Moon drove a Rolls Royce into a pool.
Oh, good God. Yeah, that of course he did.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does that?
Keith Moon, that's who.
A Rolls Royce Phantom here in Sydney is $900,000, and you need to be a sufficient character, according to Rolls Royce, to even be sold one.
Wow.
And you drive it into a pool.
Oh yeah, we're going to give it to this rock star, and here he is, driving into a pool.
There's John Lennon rolling around bloody London in '65 in his Rolls Royce, picking up Julian from school. Like a good father.
Yes.
God, and that guy was partying too.
Yeah.
God, Christ, in a pool.
In a pool.
Right, that's unstoppable. That's untoppable.
There was a few other stories. I know that Keith Moon passed out behind his drum kit, and they actually pulled up
an audience member.
An audience member to play the spot for him for about 20 minutes.
That's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Quadroons,
what is it? Quadroons or whatever they are will do that to you.
Quaaludes,
that's what I meant.
And thankfully we don't have access to those anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of our friends would be dead. No, joking.
Oh, that's terrible.
Wow, this is taking a dramatic turn.
Indeed.
Let's go back to the list.
Alright. Led Zeppelin.
You need to make a decision, Chilli.
I do.
You're procrastinating.
I can't make a decision. It's so difficult, this one.
Really
I think this is the most difficult one you've made for me.
Thought so.
And you've thrown Motorhead in the past.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck, I'm glad I wasn't in this list.
Yeah, well. They nearly were.
They nearly were. I would... You know what? Shit, man, that's a difficult one. I think, for me, The Who would have to get struck off.
Yeah, I would take the same decision.
They're kind of hit and miss with their albums, right?
Yeah. What about Barbara O'Reilly?
Great song.
Shit, you'd never listen to that again.
I know.
You would be.
I'm depressed thinking about that.
Oh, mate, yeah, you're gonna have to get on.
For
some
me,
Prozac
actually,
for that shit.
John Entwistle is probably one of the best bass players out there.
Yeah.
His sound, his tone, everything.
Well, but what about Geezer?
I think Entwistle was better.
Yeah, fair enough.
He just
Geezer's
did a style that was.
good.
Yeah, that Thunderbird.
Yeah. It's
I'm missing it now as I'm thinking about it.
That YouTube vid where he's got that like fretless bass and he's just like.
He's
going
hammering
ballistic on it. Yeah.
Is he old in the video?
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah,
no,
it's
you
like
showed me it.
Yeah.
He's got a brown bass.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
distinctly remember.
He's got that camera at the top of the head.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah. It's a great video.
Side note for any bass player out there about John Entwistle, but he invented a style of playing the bass which he envisioned about when he was, because he used to be a typist. He used to use a typewriter. So when you're playing the bass, and you're doing it with fingers, obviously you're plucking it, but he would play the strings like a typewriter.
You tap them.
Tap them.
That's it.
So it's almost like slapping,
yeah.
but it's not quite. But it's not like finger picking either. And obviously he turned up his tone and all the rest, and the rest is history. That's his tone.
Well, you make a very solid argument for why he's an incredible bass player.
Incredible indeed. He was insane, that guy. But no, I would have to unfortunately strike off The Who. Their albums are kind of hit and miss, and especially their newer stuff. Actually, the last album they did wasn't bad. But the last, 4 albums before that was average.
Yeah.
Eminence Front, one of my favourite songs of theirs. Shame to see it go, unfortunately. So
such is the nature of the game.
It is. So The Who is off the list, which leaves Black Sabbath and Zepp. And I guess it's going to factor into the place that, because I've seen Sabbath live, I would have to say, listen. And I would love to see...
You're listening.
I'm listening
to Black Sabbath.
Yeah, listening to Sabbath, and I'm going to see Zepp live because that just seems
their
like...
heyday.
Yeah, 1972 or something like
the
that.
time-space continuum.
I would love to see Zepp perform live. It would just be a monstrous event.
An occasion for the ages.
Indeed.
You could basically lie down in your grave and die after seeing that.
I think so. I think I could definitely die happy.
But you would never be able to listen to them again.
Unfortunately, but I think the memory would remain there.
Yeah.
It would just be a phenomenal concert.
Yeah, goddamn.
I mean, shit, the way my dad talks about it, Zeppelin.
Yeah.
He would, he saw them nearly 50 years ago.
Yeah, in their heyday.
Exactly, pretty much around 72, I think, when they came out, and he mentioned that they didn't even do a sound check. They just jumped on stage playing Communication Breakdown.
Oh,
and
my
that's how they
God.
always started their concerts.
Oh, fucking hell.
Can you imagine Zepp coming out and just going, Communication Breakdown?
I've got a story about Led Zeppelin.
Alright, go for
And
it.
it's contemporary.
Okay.
So I was in court 2 weeks ago at a trial, and the judge read a piece of evidence that said dazed and confused, and then she said she was musing to herself, the judge, Her Honour, and she said,
Yes.
"I think that's a song,
Oh, no.
Led Zeppelin, I think." And
Ooh.
then both senior counsel at the bar table said, "Not sure, Your Honour."
You're fucking me.
I'm sitting at the table behind senior counsel, and I'm nodding and smiling to the judge, and the judge looked at me and nodded and smiled.
Ah.
And then about an hour later, she said, "Dazed and confused again," and she looked at me and winked.
That is awesome. That song is also awesome. That boom, boom, boom,
Boom, boom, boom, boom, boom, boom, boom.
That was a tough list, Doz, man. That was.
So
that
you're
was,
listening to Black Sabbath.
I would be listening to Sabbath. I would listen to them happily. Those first 5 albums, gladly, without a doubt.
My decision would be
Yes.
identical.
Same decision.
I said 10 minutes ago that I listened to Sweet Leaf like 20 times today, and I'm going to listen to it more today.
You're probably gonna listen to another 10 more times on the way back home.
Yeah, probably. I am going to do that. I absolutely love Black Sabbath. Zepp, love them. I don't like how big they are, in a way.
They're kind of too big.
Yeah, in a way.
They're like on a 30-foot pillar
yeah,
of bands.
but
You know?
they're so fucking... But
They do
their songs
deserve
are
a bit of
amazing.
it, but
But yeah, I totally take that, man. Like live Zepp at their heyday would be just unstoppable. Like you would, I think you really hit the nail on the head, man. In my opinion, you said basically that would just be a memory that would just never fade, and like I would not happily, but reluctantly take not listening to Zepp by just throwing myself into that bloody concert.
yeah, definitely right, man. You're not wrong there.
Yeah,
It would just be this incredible concert with that one.
yeah, yeah, damn. But it's a hard list, Chili.
It is.
It's a
very
hard
difficult
game.
list.
If you've got feedback on your own games, let us know. We're interested to hear how you guys are going.
We'll be interested also to hear what you think about the list. Which way
Yeah.
you would have those bands perform.
Yeah. But I could easily see that list falling many different ways. I mean, like a lot of people would listen to Zepp. I would have thought.
Definitely.
Not many people would erase them.
Yes, that would be a
I
hard
think
decision for anyone.
Sabbath might be cut for some people,
Yeah,
but we got into them
pretty early.
Well, we did. We segued from Garage Inc.
Yeah, I reckon what 2001, 2002?
No. No, we were probably about 15, 16.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Garage Inc. was definitely the segue that
Yeah, it's a good album.
Sabbath, bloody Sabbath.
Yeah, it's just like it was a launching pad for some cool bands.
It
Diamond
was.
Head.
Diamond Head, yeah.
What about Metallica? They said that they're basically meshing of two heads together
Motorhead and Diamond Head. Definitely, yes.
on the British bands. That's why I
On
brought that up.
Yeah, well, that's because of Lars Ulrich's upbringing in.
Well, yeah, he used to order records from the newspaper.
Also, when he was still young and he was still living in Europe before he moved over.
Of course, yeah.
He was actually, he was actually in an album but the internal leaf for a Motorhead album. He, by chance, Motorhead were recording some album. I forget which one it was, maybe Orgasmatron or something, back in that very early 80s, sorry.
Ace
and-
of Spades era.
Just a bit after Ace of
Yeah,
Spades.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
just after that one,
Yeah.
I remember he said. And he goes, I was with them when they were recording.
Yeah, nice.
And I was partying with them, and I passed out in the recording studio. And someone took a photo of a young Lars Ulrich passed out in the recording studio, and they used it on the booklet when
That's
they printed
wicked.
it.
That's so cool.
So somewhere, I forget, like a Orgasmatron or one of those albums, or like I said, Iron Fist maybe, there's a photo of Lars Ulrich passed out in a recording studio.
These British bands,
They're
they
crazy.
could have been another list.
They could have been, definitely.
They could have been another list. I'm glad you didn't put the Beatles on. We would never have ended this.
No, not at all.
Well-
I'll save that one for later, though.
Well, this has been a challenging one.
Definitely has.
Episode 3 is done.
It has. It's over, people. The British bands.
The
The
British
list
bands.
ahead.
Have you got a theme for next time, Chili, or are we gonna wing it?
Would you like to pick a theme?
90s
90s
rock bands,
Ooh.
or 90s bands.
90s
90s
bands.
bands.
90s bands. in
90s
general.
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Famous in the 90s, obviously.
Well, just whatever you want to do from the 90s. I mean, there's a lot of bands.
There's a lot
here.
of-
We've
there's
got
a lot of bands.
like Boards of Canada in 90s.
True that.
That's the rules would be they had to have released an album in the 90s.
Easy.
Man, I could put Weezer on it.
Shit, yeah.
I could put fucking Boards of Canada on it.
There'd be a lot of bands there.
I could
There's
put
a lot
Nirvana
of
on it.
interesting ones.
I could put Soundgarden on it.
These lists could go on and on
No,
forever.
I'm keen for 90s.
All
right, tune in for 90s next time, guys.
We'll lock it in. Episode 4, people. 90s.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for Side B. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Doz and Chilli.
Signing out.
Next time, guys. See ya.
Catch ya.